I've been wondering, and the question has been asked, is the church relevant today? Is there a purpose to church today? And the question, I suppose, is brought on, do we have a purpose? Or is the church a relic of the past? Previously, before technology existed, Christians gathered together upon the first day of the week for the last almost 2,000 years. Then we began to see the invention of technology with the television, and then further progression into the computer age. Now we can live stream services, we can download things. I know some churches don't even have someone doing the speaking live, but rather they do a screen and live stream of preacher in. And so the question really has to be asked, what is the relevance of the church as an organization, as a structure, as a place of assembly upon the first day of the week? So my question to you is, how do you feel about today's culture? Wednesday night, Katie gave a fabulous definition as to what culture was, and I can't even begin to repeat it. But society today, the culture that's around us, how do you feel about it? Are you cool with the idea of men becoming pregnant? Is that okay? Does that work? Are you comfortable with the idea of human beings having sexual relationships with animals? Is that okay? Are you on board with the evolution theory? If you answered yes to any of these, I would say you probably believe that the church is irrelevant, that the church serves no purpose in today's life. On the other hand, if your answer is no, then you believe. You believe that the church has a purpose. And we're going to discuss that purpose. I do believe that there is a call for a change in some respects to the church. And I'll explain that in a moment. But before I do that, I would like for you to entertain a thought. And that thought is darkness. Have you ever looked up the definition of darkness in the dictionary? The dictionary says darkness is the absence of light. I want you to entertain another thought. If darkness is simply a lack or absence of light, then evil is simply a lack of goodness or God. Think about it. Every evil act that has ever been committed is because that individual had a lack of God in their lives. As I mentioned earlier in Bible class, I've been doing some studying in preparation for this lesson and some other lessons. And I looked at graph charts. Belief in God, strong belief in God versus the crime rate. The stronger America believes in God, the lower our crime rate, generally speaking. Not always true. There are certain instances where economic problems played a large part in crime rate. But generally speaking, if you look at those things, the last 20 plus years are a prime example of a lack of God leading to higher crime rates. The lack of God creates a space for evil. It's simply a lack of God. The purpose of the church, though, can be found in the book of Matthew. Jesus, directly before his ascension into heaven, spoke to his 12 apostles, 11 at this point, actually, in Matthew chapter 28, and he leaves them the purpose of the church. This purpose, I believe, and I see as not only relevant, but I see this purpose as of paramount importance for today's society and the culture we live in. However, I believe that we as the church are failing miserably to hold up what Jesus gave us to do. And I will explain that. I don't mean this to offend anyone. But I believe that we are failing miserably. Matthew chapter 28, verse 16, Jesus says, "Now the 11 disciples went to Galilee to the mount which Jesus had directed them. And when they saw him, they worshipped him. But some doubted." You might underscore that. Even among the 12, even among the 11, I should say again. Those who had walked with Jesus, those who saw him crucified, those who saw him rise from the dead, those who saw him stand before them and come through locked doors, still had doubt in their mind. Doubt is okay. Doubt is caution. But do we allow doubt to rule our lives? I would like for you to entertain the thought that none of those 11 apostles allowed doubt to rule their lives. They questioned. They solidified their faith. And they became the greatest 11 men the world has ever known. And Jesus came and said to them, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me." And here is the purpose of the church, my friends, found in verse 19 of Matthew chapter 28. "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you." That, my friends, is the purpose of the church. That's why we exist. We do not exist to worship God. Oh, that's part of it. We do not exist for our own benefit. No, we exist for the commandment of Jesus, for that commission, that purpose. Go and make disciples. Baptize and teach. There are 4 separate commands found in this instruction. They're all active. They all require activity. Today, though, I want to focus on 2 of these commands. 2 that I believe that we are sorely lacking in. 2 that I think we need to wake up and take effect as individuals. As members of the church, Jesus not only said this to the 11 apostles, but he also, it's a commandment for the church that transcends the ages and exists even today. First of all, to make disciples. And secondly, to teach. Those 2 things I think that we are most sorely lacking in, and hence, because we're lacking in them, we see a lack of church attendance. Although our building is fairly full this morning, thanks to your efforts and your individual accountability.